Go ahead.
Are we there? We're here.
Are we where?
Are we there? Remember, wherever you go, there you are. Here we are here, folks. Welcome to Sportskeeda's Wrestle Binge YouTube channel. This is Q&A. I'm your host, Joe What a Day Lowry. And of course, we're joined by our two wrestling insiders here. First up, he is a legendary Hall of Fame journalist and all that good stuff, and the managing sports editor. I always screw that part up. You are the
senior editor.
Senior
right.
editor. Senior
right.
editor.
I'm stone old.
Stone old, right? Print bait before there was clickbait. I get it.
You're right. You got it. Right?
So, yep, there he is, folks. You really need no introduction. You are the man.
Well, thank you.
Many talents, but welcome, Mr. Bill Apter. Welcome.
Well, and you know, you can always read my name down on right below me here.
That's right, Bill Apter. That's right.
You know where? Down there.
Yo, down there. It's like the Jewish rapper. Oi, oi, oi.
Oy,
there you go. Anyways, we are joined by a second wrestling insider. He's a man who really does get the news before it breaks. He never shows his face. Let's welcome Joe from WrestleVotes Radio. Welcome, Joe.
Hello, gentlemen. Bill, Joe Lowry. Happy to be back here. A lot to talk about. So let's do it, Joe. Let's get underway.
Joe, am I seeing a new logo on your screen there?
Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's a mask.
Yeah, we're testing something out here, maybe.
Uh-oh, there you go. A little marketing strategy. Nothing wrong with that here on a Tuesday. First off, before we're going to pay some bills here, if you haven't liked or subscribed to this video yet, please do so and join the over 92,000 other subscribers. I think they're approaching 93,000 almost. But nonetheless, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't done so.
Hold on a minute. Michael, hit it. 9301.
93,001.
Michael, thank you for subscribing.
Unbelievable. Okay. I didn't know it was that easy. You could just yell out to somebody. All right. We'll do that. But nonetheless, I guess the big news story of the day is the injury sustained by WWE superstar Liv Morgan last night. Did you guys catch that, Bill? Joe, did you guys catch it?
Yeah, absolutely caught it. So unfortunate because she's at such a peak of her career. She's so good at what she does. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of storyline with her, unless, of course, they have her come back and she threatens to have Raquel Rodriguez kill Kairi Sane.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the way to go.
Yeah. Joe, before we get to you, I was just emailed a video by a fan who this video is pretty it shows Liv leaving under medical supervision. You could tell, I'm going to play the video right now. You can tell that she's in a lot of pain in this video. So I'm going to show that real quick before we go to Joe to WrestleVotes with an update on Liv Morgan. Yeah, the show seemed to take a different turn after that injury. They even ended early. That show was less than 2.5 hours last night. If you had your clock on, you'd know it ended well before 10:30. Joe from WrestleVotes, what do you got for us? Any update on Liv Morgan and the injury?
Yeah, unfortunate. Like Bill said, tough timing, both career-wise and to be a women's superstar with the all-women's pay-per-view PLE coming up. Funny, Joe, that you showed that video. I was going to mention the reaction that was back in Gorilla, a lot more reserved, a lot more calm than a few weeks ago when Zoe Stark got injured. So I take that as good news. Just talking to a few people, obviously didn't talk to any doctors, so internet don't run wild with this. But it feels about 3 months she's going to be on the shelf with the injury.
Wow. Okay.
So tough luck all the way around, but hopefully it's a speedy recovery and she comes back stronger than she was before.
Right. It's a tough situation to be in, but you know, a shoulder injury, yeah, she can't wrestle, but will she remain on television backstage vignettes, no contact in the
I
ring.
hope so. Joe, I'm going to leave you two for 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Of course you are, because we just hit the record button. So
I
you're going to leave.
I will be right back.
We'll be here, Bill.
Nonetheless, Joe,
Yep.
a lot of storylines surrounding Liv Morgan, whether it's the Judgment Day, her money-making on-screen romance with Dominic Mysterio, the recent run-ins with Roxanne Perez, and just last night, the little tiffy off there with no pun intended with Tiffy time, but there was a little animosity between not Roxanne,
Liv and Io.
Raquel Rodriguez
Yeah.
and Liv Morgan. Excuse me, I just blanked out there for a second. Too many names going through my head.
That's all
But
right.
nonetheless, there was some tension there. Did you see that vibe last night? Before
Joe,
she
was starting that I guess deal with Raquel, but she also started something with Io Sky at the beginning of the show, which is now going to be thrown away.
Right.
You know, we can pick Bill up when he gets here, but I was told this morning that injury has now caused a lot of the Evolution card to basically be scrapped, be ripped up and started from scratch because she was pegged for a big time tag team match that isn't going to happen now. So that spot's going to be filled by somebody else, and it's going to have a lot of ripple effect. So that's unfortunate.
Right. Welcome back, Bill. We got you back on the air.
And I don't think Raquel Rodriguez is.
Yeah, we were just talking about these storylines. She's involved in a multitude of storylines right now.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah. No, I heard it on my other machine here, but I'm saying I don't know if they made her a strong enough character to actually be a replacement for Liv Morgan.
I agree.
Yeah, I to me there isn't now. The recovery time. We don't know the severity of injury. They've been tight-lipped on this all day long. Nobody really knows for sure what the extent of the injury is. But lo and behold, just a couple hours ago, she tweeted out a funny thing on Instagram and so forth of a Sabrina Carpenter. She did a photo expose of Sabrina Carpenter's new song. And everyone thinks she's in good spirits. Whether or not that dictates whether or not she is okay, we don't know. There's still no update as of now. But Joe, you're thinking 3 months now?
Internet's not working right. I'm wired. I don't know. It's not me.
I don't know. You're frozen. You're stuck in time. But Joe, real quickly, you're thinking 3 months now?
Just what I've been hearing this morning, Joe. I asked a couple people. They said roughly around 12 weeks. Looks like it. Hopefully it's less, but a dislocated shoulder, and 9 times out of 10 turns out to be a dislocated shoulder. So that takes time.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate incident. I saw Kairi Sane got a lot of heat because she's involved in yet another storyline where someone got hurt, but you could just tell Liv was, falling correctly. It's just her body gave out. It's an unfortunate accident. I'm sure a lot of people are going to chime in on this. So let's get over to the questions. We got a lot of questions coming in here, and we'll kick it off with who do we got? Matthew Ham, our good friend Matthew Ham. He wants to know, will we see WWE? I think we had this question last week, but we'll answer it again. Do you see WWE acquiring other promotions like Stake and Noah or TNA? Bill, I'll hit it up with you first. Do you see something like that happening with WWE? They'll acquire Noah or TNA?
I think that WWE is going to acquire World Wrestling Council since Carlito had left. And now you're frozen, so I'm going to be right back.
Okay. Bill's having some internet issues. Joe, what do you think? WWE going to bring on another company, even though TKO is in debt?
Joe, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they got a percentage of a promotion. Much like they did AAA, they bought the whole thing. I don't see them buying the whole TNA company, but if they woke up and had 15-20% under their belt all of a sudden, I don't think they'd say no to that. Right.
Okay. So that's a good question by Matt Ham. I think Bill Apter is coming back and joining us. Where is he now?
There I am. You internet people, by the way, you experts on computer. I'm on a wired thing on my computer here, and very weird, wired right into my modem. But where were we going when I signed out just a minute ago?
WWE possibly acquiring Noah or TNA or
Well,
something.
I think they will acquire at a cheap rate WWC World Wrestling Council.
Right.
But we're talking about WWE buying and TKO buying other companies.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that I haven't said anywhere yet.
Uh-oh. Breaking news.
No matter what legal issues, no matter what anything is, Vince McMahon never loses. He's got a way of turning things around and being a successful entrepreneur with just about everything he's done, except the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Yeah.
I find, in my mind, and I don't know where it's going to happen. I hear TKO, is in some sort of a financial disarray. I have a feeling, and it may not be very soon, that Vince McMahon is going to successfully, possibly with his son, find a way to. He's still the largest stockholder, right, Joe?
Yeah, he's got a percentage still.
Yeah, he's still got the largest percentage. He is going to find a way to blow away all this legal stuff, and he's going to wind up running WWE again.
Well, it's not the first time I've heard that, but I believe it. I'll put nothing past Vince McMahon. He's just, you can't argue with success, and that's what the WWE's had over the years. I'm not sure what it is, Joe. What do you think it is right now with the WWE? And it just seems like they're having I didn't want to say bad luck, but bad vibes or something's going on. They're pushing so many PLEs and live shows and staggering ticket prices.
That's why they bought it.
Yeah.
That's why they bought it. It's a business thing. Make money.
Yeah. Well, they're making an astronomical amount of money. I guess $3 billion will do that. But Joe, what do you think? You think Vince McMahon could be on the verge of taking back the company with his son, Shane?
I agree with everything Bill said regarding Vince being successful. But I don't see him coming back. I don't think TKO would sell it back to him. I don't think the company is for sale. But maybe Vince can buy a WWC or a large percentage of TNA, and he can try something new. I don't think so, but you can't put anything past that man.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't take a loss very well. He will find any way he can to claw his way back into the company.
Sure.
The claw.
All right, moving on here. Michael Ugaweke has a question. He wants to know what's next for Io and Nikki Bella now that Liv is injured. How do they pivot from this? I know this is all brand new. We still don't know the extent of the injury, but Joe, I'll kick it off with you. If you were to play, creative storyline writer here, what would you do with Io and Nikki Bella now?
It's a good question. I want to preface it by saying all this is fresh, right? So I don't know if they have an answer. If I'm booking, I know people may not want to hear this, but we reported that it was possibly going to be the Bella Twins versus Liv and Raquel at Evolution for the titles. You could put Roxanne in her place and just keep the match as it is. I don't know if that's what they'll do.
That's an interesting observation. Bill, what do you think of that?
I think exactly what WrestleVotes Joe just said. I think Raquel Rodriguez is the understudy for Liv Morgan at this point, and she's going to put in that match because there's already been talk about Brie Bella coming back in.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think that's good. I think that's already on the forefront. So it's just a matter of lining up the right
or
people.
do you put in Roxanne Perez?
The Roxanne Perez insertion, like I'll compare to like Naomi with the Jade Cargill incident. It's even though that was a storyline, this is real life. That could possibly work.
Yeah, I think it will, and it'll kick off Liv for when she comes back.
Yep, and it'll build an astronomical amount of heat. With Roxanne leaving to obviously that inevitable face turn for Liv maybe down the line. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, coming back exactly the way you said, like with the Jade Cargill thing, is that while I was away, how could you two replace me with her?
Exactly.
Her. Yeah, something like that.
Really?
Definitely. Yeah, just reinventing the wheel at this point, right? Matt Ham's chiming in, guys. He wants to know, who does Io face at Evolution now? Yeah, that's I mean, you got a big women's division there. You could throw anybody. There is still some time to make some storylines happen. Bill, who would you throw Io in the ring with?
Oh my goodness! Well, of course, we all want to see Rhea Ripley.
Right. Okay.
That's the most logical
That's
billboard match, in my opinion.
Yeah. And what about Joe? What do you think?
Or
No, I
maybe
agree,
wait, excuse me 1 sec. Or maybe Lyra Valkyria.
Okay. Interesting move. Joe, your thoughts?
There's options, as Bill said. Stephanie Vaquer could fill that role easily.
Oh yeah.
So I again, I don't want to sound like it's a cop out, but this injury that happened not 24 hours ago has caused a ripple effect in what their plans were for this show. So let's give it a few days. I'll dig something up if I can, but I don't think they have the answers yet.
Right. Stephanie Vaquer is getting such a great reaction from the fans. I think she might be the answer to what we're talking about. I think fans would love to see her against Io.
Yeah, that'd be a great match.
Yeah.
We got a good taste of her versus Asuka last night, which was
we sure did.
Asuka looked like she didn't miss a beat being out a year. She looked great last night. So
she did.
Yep, she did. Matt Ham's chiming with one more question. Does WWE do a PLE in Japan next year? Joe, what do you think? You think going to Japan next year?
It's been on the table for a few years, as far as I know. So I guess it's on the short list of the locations that they're trying to hit. So yeah, I could see it happening.
Okay.
I want to talk about something no one has asked yet.
Okay. Goldberg. Yeah.
So here's what people have been asking me. What are they going to do with Goldberg? First of all, I think he came across, he was back to his old self in terms of intimidation. And I think I liked Gunther's reaction that he actually kind of backed off of this, the whole Goldberg, you're next. Yep. So I've come up with a theory that I think is going to happen. This is
Goldberg theory. Okay.
I think Goldberg is going to beat Gunther. Okay. It's not going to be a long match, but Goldberg is going to get hurt during that match. And then Seth Rollins comes in with the rest of Paul Heyman's troupe. They beat the crap out of Goldberg. Seth calls for a referee. Goldberg has made a successful comeback because he got a world title. And now Seth Rollins gets the belt. Yeah. What do you think?
Joe, go ahead. What do you think of that?
I think it's more than possible. There's a reason they're doing this for the title. They didn't have to do this for the title, but they are. And if Goldberg wants to win and then go out that way with doing the job inside a Money in the Bank type of cash-in, I'd be cool with it. I think the people would love it. And I think Seth would be more than okay with being Goldberg's last opponent. So that's cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say that this is Goldberg's last match, and does he want to be remembered for winning the title and then being a victim of a cash-in? So,
well, he could be, because he'd be attacked by Braun Breaker.
Oh, sure, yeah. No, I get it.
That whole troop. So it's not a shame to get beaten down by three guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a funny feeling that Gunther's second title reign is going to be a lot longer than the first one. So
Goldberg can't lose, in my opinion.
That is true.
Remember, this is network TV. So it's network TV. You want to do something that people will talk about the next day. And I think they're going to say that, the way they did this was really good. Everybody will be talking about it.
Okay. Excellent. All right, then. Moving on here. Balor Club Guys podcast chiming in here. Great supporter. With Cena facing Punk at Night of Champions and possibly Cody at SummerSlam, who would you pick to be John Cena's final opponent? Joe, I'll start with you. Who do you think it's going to be in December?
I'm still going Punk, although I know the match is happening next week. I still think it's going to shape out to be him and John Cena, probably in Boston. So Punk is still my answer.
All right. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go with that, or Logan Paul.
Really? Logan Paul. Interesting.
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
See, I could see. I'll stick to my guns after finding out that his last match will be in Boston, probably for a Saturday night's main event. It all started with Cody Rhodes. I think it all ends with Cody Rhodes. I could see Logan Paul
fine,
and
too.
John Cena headlining SummerSlam. I can see that. You got a 2-night SummerSlam, so you're gonna have a main event for each night. So I can definitely see Cody and Logan Paul highlighting either that Saturday or Sunday. But I would have to say that John Cena's final opponent in December, it begins and ends with Cody Rhodes, and that'll be that. Because don't forget, John Cena says he's taking that title with him when he leaves, so he has to lose. He has to lose.
Maybe they'll do that.
Well, maybe they'll do that.
Maybe they'll do that, and then they have to come up. He takes the belt with him, takes it home, and WWE is now, what a great angle. WWE is now in a total quandary because they don't have the undisputed, the world champion anymore, the undisputed champion anymore, rather. And what do? I don't know. We got to get everybody around and figure out if we can come up with another championship, because he didn't retire it. He just left with it. So what do we do? Can you imagine the confusion that people would watch and talk about?
No, I definitely agree. On that. All right. So another question by Ballot Club. He goes, with Goldberg facing Gunther for the world title in Atlanta is the same day as AEW All In. Yeah, I forgot about that. I feel like Goldberg winning the world title could be a real possibility. Oh, he must have read you guys' minds. He's asking for your thoughts on the match. Bill, you said it might be kind of like a Gunther, a Goldberg squash match. Do you think that's going to happen?
No. I said Goldberg wins.
Right.
Goldberg wins, but during the match, he suffers an injury, or right after he wins, Paul Heyman's guys come and attack him. Okay. And then Seth Rollins comes in with the Money in the Bank briefcase, because Goldberg's been destroyed by 3 or 4 of Paul Heyman's guys, and Seth Rollins winds up with the belt. Okay.
Joe, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I like the cash-in idea. I do want to mention the Balor Club guy spoke about how it's the same day as All In. Right. All In will be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll likely go till about 8 p.m., which is the start time of Saturday night's main event. And I say that because I have a feeling WWE is going to want to outshine whatever just happened. I feel like they're going to want the conversation come Sunday morning. So, to do that, if you put the belt on Goldberg, whether a cash-in happens or not, that's a big moment, and people will talk about it more so than maybe anything AEW can do in the afternoon. So I would say it's possible.
Yeah, they could put it on. They could put it on Goldberg, and if it's not a cash-in, he could possibly lose it on Netflix on Monday Night Raw.
Yep, exactly.
I don't think they're going to keep it on him long term.
All right. Joseph Murphy's chiming in here. He wants to know, he's actually going back in time here. Was there any thought of given to Roman dropping the belt to Drew McIntyre or Sami Day during his title reign? They both had respective matches in their own countries. That's a tough question. I mean, Roman Reigns set the record with the title, the number of days, over 1,000 days as world title. Bill, would you think that they'd even think about dropping the title off of
maybe
Roman?
To Drew McIntyre they might have. I don't know for sure, but I don't think with Sami Zayn.
Okay. Joe, you agree?
No, that's completely accurate as far as everything I've been, Clash at the Castle 3 years ago. There were slight discussions for Drew. Obviously, it didn't pan out. Fast forward to Elimination Chamber in Montreal a couple months later, I didn't really hear any chatter that Sami would get that win. So that's exactly it. Yeah.
All right. Bob Ross Jr. has a couple of questions. He wants to know what your favorite hostile crowd in pro wrestling is. For example, CM Punk versus John Cena at 2011's Money in the Bank. Hostile crowd. I don't know. You might have to go international on this. Joe, what do you think? What's the most hostile crowd in pro wrestling?
I could just give an example personally. I would say when WWE ran their version of ECW at the Hammerstein Ballroom in 2006, not the pay-per-view, they did a TV episode from the ballroom, and they gave everybody in attendance the main event of Batista versus The Big Show. And I've never been a part of a crowd that wanted to rip the ring apart like that night. They were mad and they were angry. So that's my answer.
You got to love it. Bill, what do you think? Most hostile crowd? You've been to a few arenas throughout your life.
Goldberg, Brock Lesnar at Madison Square Garden.
Really?
Oh, WrestleMania 20.
Wow.
But any match in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Where the babyface would be getting killed by the heel.
Oh, yeah.
They had guard dogs around the ring. all four corners back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
And those fans would rush the ring when they got pissed off.
Yeah. Well, you got to go back to the old Garden days back in the early 70s. Blackjack Mulligan got stabbed after a match with Pedro Morales.
Boston Garden, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You talk about a hostile crowd. They were bringing knives to the gun show. You know, that's crazy. But yeah, you read about these stories. But I would say that's a hostile crowd, no doubt about it. You're going to stab one of the.
The Boston crowd.
Yeah,
they used to put up the hockey guards there because when I shot pictures, I had to go into the area and they had all those plastic hockey guards because the fans would throw more things at the wrestlers and they always hit the photographers.
Right, I remember that.
That's why I'm brain dead.
There you go. I believe it. You've been concussed more than you know. That's for sure. I do remember when I first went to the Garden back in the early 80s, 81, July of 81 was my first time there. It was the last time they used off-duty police officers. They look like biker cops, riot police. They had the helmets and the face mask and billy clubs. And it's like they were there just to make sure nobody got out of line. Meanwhile, the wrestlers were getting out of line. But that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid.
See what you do. You call the Boston Garden the Garden. The Garden is Madison Square Garden.
Right. The Garden. The house that Bruno built. I get it. Bob Ross also wants to know, will we see Io Sky versus Stephanie Vicaire at SummerSlam or Evolution? I think we kind of covered that. That could be a good spot for Evolution.
Great match.
Yeah, I definitely think Io Sky is not short on the list of opponents. Rhea Ripley's a good one. Stephanie Vicaire, but I kind of think I'm not sure. You know, we got the long-term storytelling. Rhea did tell Io a couple of weeks ago, save that title. I'm going to be coming for it. It's long-term storytelling. It's safe storytelling because I'm sure she has another world title run, but I don't see it really factoring in the plans right now, so to speak, because I really honestly think that the title was going back on Liv in some crazy way to reignite that Rhea Ripley feud again, or to get her.
We're forgetting?
Who's
that? Forgetting that Naomi has some money in the bank.
Yeah,
that's right. Case.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Right. See, they're throwing so much stuff at us right now. Our heads are on a swivel. We're like, what? It makes for great TV and a great Q&A, I guess. So, all right, Nessim Bahar, Nassim Bahar, excuse me. He's asking his weekly question. Joe, I'll kick it off with you. Any update on Ludwig Kaiser?
Yeah, I asked around after last week. Didn't get much. The only thing I can say is he's on the roster. And people say, of course he's on the roster. But when they take people off the internal roster, it means they have a legitimate injury and they're going to be away for a very long time. His name is still on the weekly television roster. So best I can say is he's just not being used right now.
Bill, what do you think? Ludwig Kaiser still with WWE?
I'd like to see him pop up on NXT for a few weeks.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be good. Give him some exposure.
Get him back, Get him back into the public eye.
Get him over and Evolve too. Help guide those kids.
I don't know. I think Evolve, which is great. I've seen it a few times, but I don't think enough people are aware of it and watch it.
No, I get it. There was a lady wrestler, I forget her name, Joe, you might want to help me with this, from Evolve, who is slated to go right to the main roster.
That was a Sean Ross Sapp report yesterday. Her name is, I think it's Kylie or Kaylee Armstrong.
Yeah, Armstrong's the last name. Yep. She's rumored to be going straight from Evolve to the main roster. So they must see something very promising with her to skip over NXT and to go into the main roster. So that will
Speaking about the ladies, what do you two think of the character that they've made out of Blake Monroe, Mariah May? I'm looking at it, and I don't. A lot of people think it's kind of a ripoff of Toni Storm. She's not coming across with this character. She's not coming across tough, which is what Mariah May came across in AEW. What do you two think about the character that they put on her?
Joe, you answer first. Go ahead.
I think it's going to take some time. Obviously, the name will take time. I want to see how she's presented with an entrance and how she works before I get a full judgment. But I get the Mariah May / Toni Storm influence that may be taking over already. So hopefully we'll see where it goes. She becomes more of herself.
Right.
You know, what could happen is Toni Storm could down the road, I don't know how long her contract is good for, but come down the road and bring her into WWE and accuse Blake Monroe of ripping her story out of her.
That could be a scenario. As you know, we tape this on Tuesday nights. NXT is probably going to be over and done with by the time this airs. It all depends on how she's presented tonight. It's a contract signing, even though it's her NXT contract. Her first opponent's probably going to make an appearance, whoever that may be. I'm not sure who will be. But I think Blake Monroe, by the way, the name Blake Monroe stems from her niece, Blake, and the Marilyn Monroe influence that she has. So kind of a neat little homage there. I'm surprised they let her use that name. I mean, I don't know who came up with it, but
last week you said that Mariah Monroe would have been better, and I agree.
Yeah, Mariah Monroe, but maybe that's too close to Marilyn. That could be a trademark. Who knows?
Yeah.
But her real name is Mariah May.
Right.
That's her real name. So
actually, I think it's Mariah Mead.
Yeah, Mariah May is her full name. Her full name. So she has, in the WWE, that's how they do business. They don't want you gearing outside the trademark area. So here comes Blake Monroe. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. Hopefully we'll have some answers by next week's show on who her first opponent's going to be or whatever, because these contract signings never go as planned. It'll be interesting to see who shows up to go ahead and be her first opponent.
And again, like you just said, for the people watching, a few people say, don't you guys know that that happened tonight? We taped this earlier in the evening before NXT.
Right. And just to let everybody know, we are hopefully to try and get this show to go live at some point down the road. I like the live context as well. So we'll see what happens with that. So anyways, moving on here. Nasam's got another question. He got the press release for WrestleMania 42, but there was no mention for the WWE Hall of Fame in 2026. Does Bill or Joe know why? Bill, do you know why? No.
I don't think the Hall of Fame right now is as important as it was the last few years in terms of what they're going to do with it.
Right. Okay.
Just a feeling I get, nothing that I know.
Okay. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know why it's not in the press release. I'd imagine they're reworking it again like they did last year. The 10 o'clock West Coast start time didn't really work out well. So I'd imagine they don't want to do that again. So maybe once details are finalized, they'll make an announcement. But you got to remember, just a few months ago, we were 30-something days away, and there was still no announcement. So, they've got all the time in the world.
Maybe they won't even do it during WrestleMania season. Maybe they'll do it at a different time and make it a separate event, which is what I'd like to see. Just a special event, not tied in with any of their other shows.
I would definitely replace SmackDown that night, put the event on during that time, and build the storylines of WrestleMania along that. You can do run-ins, you can do stuff, you can put a little, theatrics involved. I'd like to see it 8 to 10.
No, I want to see it classy. You want to see it
classy? All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah. Stay classy, San Diego. All right. We got it. Moving on here. A lot of Liv Morgan questions. The update right now, from what Joe was saying, is possibly 3 months, correct?
Yeah, possibly up to 3 months.
Up to 3 months. I guess that's better than 16 weeks. Some people said it could go anywhere from 2 to 16 weeks. So I'll take the 3 months. Todd J, a.k.a. the Jake Man 68, is Randy Orton turning heel, and will he finally face Cody? Joe, do you see that happening?
Match could happen next Saturday in Saudi Arabia if the tournament lines up. But yeah, a lot of people want to see this match. It's going to happen before long. And I don't think either side needs to be heel for it to happen. So
correct.
We'll see.
All right. You agree with that, Bill?
Totally. The fans will decide who's the heel in that match.
Right. Todd's got another question. I just heard about this yesterday. News coming out of AEW that John Moxley and AEW is getting sued for pushing a camera operator at ringside during his match Moxley against Kenny Omega. This is a weird story because to have Tony Khan let it get this far, it might expose a lot of the lapses in the company policy with AEW. Their business practice might be held center stage now. I mean, you had the CM Punk fallout last year or 2 years ago.
Where are you, Joe?
I'm right here. Where are you?
I'm here. There's nothing going on. I'm on my cell phone. This is not anything in my studio.
Joe, real quick, what do you think about this John Moxley AEW lawsuit from the camera operator?
Yeah, Joe. First of all, I want to say John Alba, the writer of this story, did a great job. He's a guy I talk to a few times a week. He's a top person. So great job there. Look, if you're John Moxley, you really can't put your hands on anybody that's not pre-arranged. So, I get it. It's a live TV show. He was in the moment. He just gave a grown man a shove. I understand his side, but you can't do that. Unfortunately, you can't do that. So, it sucks all the way around.
Bill, this must be like old school to you. You must have got thrown around in your day.
I got wrestlers fell on top of us. Slammed a couple of times, but on the back of the press ticket back in the 70s, it looked like a regular ticket, and it said that if you accept this ticket, the WWF or the Madison Square Garden or whatever arena is not responsible for whatever may happen. It's kind of taking a risk on your own.
Yeah, no different than going to a baseball game or a hockey game and so forth. Watch out for loose balls and bats and all that stuff. It's the same type of thing. I get it. But to me, I just think it's funny how it got this far that he had to actually file a lawsuit. I mean, wouldn't you want to talk to Tony Khan first and be like, hey, look at it. I want to keep this out of the news. But
they're not an AEW. I think the camera people are probably a third party.
Oh, definitely.
Company.
Definitely.
So this person that got hurt is not an employee of AEW, and this happened, and it's again like WrestleVotes Joe said, it's very unfortunate that it happened, but no, there's no way they were going to keep it out of the news.
Right. Okay. Moving on here, we got Kairi Sane. Todd J, another question. Kairi Sane has now been involved with 2 matches with injuring wrestling opponents. Is this a coincidence or something that Kairi is or not doing, saying she purposely hurt people? His writing is crazy. Hurt anyone but in 2 months. What does WWE do? Let's just call it what it is. Kairi Sane did not hurt Liv Morgan last night.
No. Not at all.
Simple takedown. Liv went to break her fall, as they all do, and it happens. It's obviously an unfortunate accident. That's why it's called an accident. But you guys agree with me that Kairi Sane's really not responsible for the Liv Morgan?
No, not at all. And thank goodness this wasn't back in the days of ECW, because they would all be yelling, "You effed up! You effed up!"
Yeah. Exactly.
They would. Yeah, no. Kairi Sane had nothing to do with the actual injury.
All right. Joe, do you think she should get fired?
It's just so unfortunate on her part, 2 times. But no, she really didn't affect the Zoe Stark injury, and she certainly didn't affect this Liv Morgan injury. Just unfortunate. She's in the ring.
But they're going to play with it. They're going to play with it. They're going to say that Kairi Sane injured Liv Morgan, and this real life situation becomes a great part of the storyline.
It did make for entertaining memes on social media today. Yeah. They got Goldberg running laps around the ring while Liv Morgan was in. It was funny memes, just funny. John Cena hitting the ropes. This is Kairi Sane when Liv Morgan's hurt. Because she was bopping around the ring trying to deflect the attention. But like I said, the whole show took on a totally different vibe after that injury. As it should, because it's something that's obviously not scripted. When they cut to a commercial break and Michael Cole is giving updates, something's up, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't blame Kairi Sane at all for what happened last night. So
certainly not.
Okay, so we got a two-part question, one for WrestleVotes and one for Bill Apter. I'm Twitter Ricky. This first one is for WrestleVotes. Fightful Select reported sources have indicated to him that Jamie Hayter isn't cleared to compete right now. This is an AEW question. Noting that if she were available, she'd be booked, and they're trying to find out creatively for her to resume her feud with Thekla. Then officially enter the Guantanamo Bay, even if she wants to go to review. What's your take on this? Basically, what's the deal with Jamie Hayter? Joe, do you know anything on her right now?
Yeah, I love the part that he put in there, the Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, the Guantanamo Bay.
That's where jailbirds are.
Yeah. I don't think Jamie Hayter fits in there yet.
Yeah.
But unfortunate Jamie Hayter, she was super, super hot 2 years ago before she got hurt. I don't think she's found herself back yet again. So maybe she can reclaim that magic, but until that happens, this might just be what she's doing.
All right. And this question is for Bill Apter. Another AEW scandal involving plumber ass John Moxley. What is your take, Bill, on the whole entire article that was reported by John Alba in Sports Illustrated?
We're talking about the one we just talked about?
Yeah, the one we just talked about. I got to get these questions out. It's a personal
question. I don't really have an opinion on it really either way. I did see it, but this kind of stuff happens where people don't think of what repercussions can happen, and when you're in the moment, sometimes you don't know if that cameraman might be part of the show. We don't know. We don't know both sides at this point. So I have no real comment either way of who's guilty and who's not guilty.
Yeah, I just think this is going to expose AEW business practices or lack thereof. I just hope it doesn't tarnish them too much, because it looks like they've had somewhat of a resurgence in the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to say ratings wise, but wrestling wise, they've had some banger matches on that show, where to me I can actually watch it. So I just hope they don't exploit any further activity with AEW business practices on this.
Yeah, I don't think it's even a business practice thing. It's an isolated incident, and all the years they've been 6 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
You never hear it. We haven't heard anything like this in 6 years, so that's a pretty damn good run.
Hey, maybe it's a plant. Maybe this camera guy worked for WWE years ago, and he's in there trying to infiltrate. Who knows?
Ooh, I like it. A conspiracy right here on Q&A with WrestleVotes.
Next question, Matthew Ham chiming in again. When does Ilya return, before or after SummerSlam? Joe, you know anything on Ilya? He's due back soon, right?
Yeah, nothing new since we talked about him last week.
The weekly question.
Yeah, he was floating around the PC.
When Brock Lesnar comes back.
They will come back together as a tag team, and that's that.
Yeah. What? No Goldberg question this week? Oh, wait, he's back.
I'm gonna predict something.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna predict that when Roman Reigns comes back, he's going to ally himself with Jacob Fatu.
Really? Okay.
Why not?
Why not?
They're both baby faces. They're both from the same family.
Well, Hikuleo there, if I'm saying his name right, worked a SmackDown Dark match. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zilla and Hikuleo come back with Roman Reigns and they form their own tribal.
No, I think they'll come back with Solo. I think Roman's going to come in.
Okay.
I think Roman's going to come in with Jacob Fatu down the line here, and they're going to be like the equal of the superpowers of the Samoan family.
Okay. Joe, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Hikuleo's ready to come. He was there last Friday night, wrestled one of the pretty deadly guys in a dark match. So
yeah,
it's very possible he makes his debut tomorrow night, or I'm sorry, this week on SmackDown. So we'll see where it all goes.
Well, depending on when you're watching the show, it could be tomorrow night. Who knows?
It could be.
Joe, what do you think about Roman coming back and allying himself with Jacob?
I'd like to see it, Bill. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think when Roman comes back, he's going to pick back up with the Paul Heyman group, the guys that took him out. Yeah, I think it'll be him, and his focus will be on Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins and those guys that took him out the night after WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about Jacob Fatu aligning with Roman Reigns.
As a team, I could see it down the line, but not right now. I don't think it fits.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's a whole character rebuild with Roman Reigns when he does return. If it's a whole new something different now, who knows? And we could have a John Cena fight with this guy too. We don't know.
He could be El Samoano Americano.
I missed El Grande this week. I don't know about you, but I kind of
he deserved a week off, Joe.
Yeah, he did. He had a hellacious last 7 days. Matt Ham thinks that Gunther will probably retain because his next question is, who is Gunther facing at SummerSlam? He thinks Gunther will still have the title after Saturday night's main event.
I don't.
Goldberg.
I don't.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think the real question is Goldberg is Gunther's match at SummerSlam for the title or not? I think that's the main question.
That is true. Goldberg, there he is. He's got great teeth. Look at the teeth on that guy. My
Those
God,
are pearly white.
Pearly whites. Good stuff there. Let me see. I know we had some other questions. Oh, any update on Liv Morgan? We've already provided those updates. Let me see. Bob Ross Jr. Do y'all think that WWE is trying to make Great American Bash into the NXT version of SummerSlam? I'm asking this because I remember last year it was a 2-week special episode. Do we have any news on the Great American Bash, Joe?
Yeah, it's going to be the same day as All In. The same night as Saturday night's main event. It's going to start at 2 p.m. from Center Stage.
Yeah. Okay.
The old WCW host. So the Great American Bash inside Center Stage in Atlanta, it's cool enough. Whatever happens, happens.
I don't know if WWE had not been bought taken over, whatever you want to call it, by TKO, if WWE would have planned shows on the same days and stuff like that as
I agree, Bill.
As AEW. I think this is a TKO thing.
Okay, maybe I've suffered too many concussions, but am I to believe that the Great American Bash, AEW All In, and Saturday night's main event are all the same weekend?
Same day.
Same day?
Same day, Joe.
God. Thank God I have an iPad and 3 widescreen TVs in my house.
And Evolution the next night.
And Evolution, right. That's right. So yeah. Talk about counter.
Both of you, if you could only watch one, which one will you watch?
Ooh.
I'm going to say All In. It's the spectacle of the day.
Okay.
It's inside a stadium. It's their big show.
It's
I can only pick one. Yeah. I got to pick All In.
What about you, Joe Lowry?
I'm privy to Saturday night's main event, but I'd have to. I mean, if I could only watch one, I'd probably go with All In because I think it will be a stacked show. They're constantly adding matches and so forth, matches we want to see, so it'd be interesting. Right. They would definitely have, because if Goldberg winning on Saturday night's main event is the worst kept secret, that could hurt WWE. I'm not saying it will, but it could hurt. I'm just saying. But the cash in element, I like that. I'm glad that they're not on at the same time because that would just be ridiculous. To have that.
What about if Goldberg wins the belt and he says he's going to announce what he's going to do on Monday night and he retires the belt? They could do that too.
Geez, Bill, what are you on the phone with WWE Creative all of a sudden?
No, it's my overdosing on tick crack. It's Teddy Long calls them.
Tick crack, good stuff.
I got to run out of here, Joe and Joe.
No, that was the last question. I just checked the line.
All right.
Good to go. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight on Sports Key to Wrestle Binge. Don't forget that, I'm going to put it up there again. Slam that like button. Get that likes. Subscribe. Good stuff here. You want to catch up on the latest news in professional wrestling and breaking news, subscribe to this channel and you'll stay up to date. Bill, you got to run. I know that. Joe, any WrestleVotes teasers for Thursday?
Working on something about Roman Reigns. I know we just spoke about him, but hopefully have a little more info on Roman. And I'm pulling it up here. Some more AAA feedback. Bigger and better is what I can give you guys right now. So looking forward to Thursday.
All right. Good stuff.
By the way, I did an exclusive interview, 45-minute with Conan, and part 1 is on WrestleBinge currently, and there'll probably be 2 or 3 other ones, but we talked a lot about AAA, about Dominic Mysterio, about Penta. We talked about everything.
Nice. Good stuff.
Great.
All right, you two. Thanks for joining us. And as always, I'm Joe What a Day Lowry. You guys can go ahead and close out the show.
Hey, Joe, we'll see you
At the matches.
We're out of here, baby.
Good stuff.